Recorded live for World Cafe, that was PUP with Concrete, a song from their new album, Who Will Look After the Dogs? I'm Raina Douris, and PUP are here with me. Stefan, Steve, Nestor, and Zach, welcome to the World Cafe.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you here. Maybe we could dig into that song that we just heard a little bit as a way to talk about how you guys recorded this album. Stefan, you said that you are really proud of Concrete because it's one where you keep things simple. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think the four of us generally have the tendency to like overcomplicate and overthink everything. It's like a neuroses thing, I think. And we tried really hard on this record to, when it called for it, just like keep things simple and banging and capture the spirit and the energy of the song rather than overthink it. And that's one where I think we did a great job. We really captured like, yeah, the energy and the essence of the song without worrying too much about the dumb little details.
Yeah. Well, and I guess a big part of that was working with John Congleton, the producer who's worked with St. Vincent, Death Cab, and if you go to his Wikipedia page, just a kind of wild number of people. Why was he the person that you guys wanted to work with for this album?
I think when we like spoke to him initially, just like the philosophy that he had about making records was sort of, it felt like in line kind of with what like Stefan was saying. And he just seemed like to share kind of a sense of humor that we had. And I think his energy just felt like the right match for some of these songs. And, I think we were a little nervous. He was like, yeah, we'll do it in 3 weeks. And that's like so short, like comparatively to all the other records we've made.
How long would it normally take you guys to make a record before this?
It'd be like a month at least, like up to 6 weeks.
Yeah, about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then like 2 months of like discussing whether we should redo things.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, no, we don't need to do that. We'll just do it in 3 weeks. And you'll find that at the end, you'll be standing around with nothing to do. And we were all kind of like, that seems pretty scary. But we just sort of trusted him. And, like you said, his resume is amazing. And I think that, yeah, we were standing around at the end of 3 weeks with like nothing to do, basically.
He's also the only person that we've ever met that has a darker sense of humor than any of us. And we were like, yes, we connect with this immediately.
Tell me more about that.
Lots of coffin jokes.
Yeah, gallows humor. But
there's like a skeleton in the studio, like a full like size like medical skeleton that just like has a pig mask on. Just like stuff like that. We were like, oh, this man is like cracked in a way that like we just like totally understand.
Yeah.
The coffee table. Sorry, you go first? The coffee table book. You walk in his mixing room, on the coffee table is just a big book that says DIY build your own coffin for peoples and pets. This is like, that's all right. Yes, we're gonna have a great time here.
But he was so supportive. Like he cares so much about like everything, making sure that there's like positive momentum in the recording session, and just like, he was listening and freely offered opinions when needed, and just like really cares about the projects. Like, I don't know. He's like a really a special guy.
So, say you guys were getting stuck on a song, you were doing that thing where you overthink things and you're getting too perfectionist-y. What would he say? I
mean, his philosophy from the outset is limiting our navel gazing. Like, not a lot of time spent. Like, if it's something you can't solve in 5 minutes, it's not worth doing. And that basically, it's like you just eject from a process if it's not going anywhere. So yeah, that kept it rolling. Again, with the positive momentum, he's like he's very supportive, and in sort of oblique ways you wouldn't expect. Like he would say, there's nothing you can do that I haven't heard before. And that's not to say we're destined to be unoriginal. It was more that like you can take the pressure off yourself to have the very best idea, because what's special about this idea is that you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, that really paved a path in productivity.
Yeah, I could see how that would be totally freeing.
Yeah.
My guests today on World Cafe are PUP. Stefan, you wrote a lot of the songs on this album while you were living in a cabin up in northern Canada. Take us to that cabin, set the scene for us, and tell us what it was like.
Yeah, I have a cabin in northern Ontario, and it's very isolated and wonderful. It's on a lake. I'm very lucky to have this. It's like I kind of got unbelievably lucky in my life, and especially with this thing. And it's just very quiet. And so much about being in a band like this is loud. And the music, but also just like life is loud.
Mhm.
Like you go on tour and you're around people all the time, and there's talking and fun and hanging, but there's just very little quiet. And so when I get away from touring and band stuff, I like to do the opposite and just go to the quietest place I can think of, and that's it. And just gives me a lot of place to think and kind of move slow and move at my own pace, and it's just really like creatively fulfilling for me, I guess.
When you're up there by yourself, when you were working on songs, what would a typical day look like?
Wake up pretty early, go on a hike with the dog, jump in the lake. Sounds so nice. It is so nice. And then just kind of like I don't have much, like, at my home I have proper recording gear where I'll make like demos that sound fine. But up there all I have is like I have a tape machine there now, but essentially it's just acoustic guitar and hope for the best. So yeah, I would just kind of like sit around and strum and figure out. I do a lot of lyric writing up there, so a lot of just like wandering around in the forest and writing stuff. It sounds so hippy dippy, like oh, like
Sounds
this is
amazing.
It is amazing. It sounds like we're Bon Iver.
Yeah.
I was gonna
and
say,
we're
you'd think
very
we're
not.
yeah, you think we're like in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Bon
it's
Iver.
funny because there is a pretty big stark disconnect between the lyrics that I write and the scenario that I'm describing, because the lyrics are not very pleasant or peaceful, but kind of takes that. For me, it takes like a bit of quiet to be able to reflect on the things that I want to write about and like put my brain back in that headspace to write the lyrics. Because otherwise, it's just like it's too noisy. My brain can't go back to the moments where I feel things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really funny if the next record, all the lyrics are like they sound as angry as your other lyrics, but they're about how much you love the forest. I think that'd be that's
I'll
I think
work
that's
on
a
it.
good direction.
I'll work on that. A concept record.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that contrast, because the lyrics to the song Hallways, which I know is one of the first songs you wrote for this album, they're pretty devastating. And if you're okay with that, I was wondering if you could tell us kind of what you were going through at that point.
Yeah, I'll just talk about it in broad terms. I mean, I wrote the first words to that song, which became the first words that were written for this record, including the title of the record. The day after a 10-year relationship ended. So it was very weird. It was like I'd been in that relationship for the entirety of this band, and it was like the first time that I'd written about not that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty heavy. And it was also the same week that we announced our previous record. So it was a pretty interesting time because I was in a very strange emotional space, as you can imagine. And I was also doing press every single day, and we were about to go on like a world tour, and like it was a weird time to have your life collapse, but that's everybody deals with stuff like that, and I feel really good now.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe don't include that.
So you feel really good? It's going to
Well,
ruin your whole image.
Yeah,
Well, when did that line that you're talking about, I can't die yet because who will look after the dog? When did you guys decide that would be a good name for the album?
I think we just kind of like, as with anything, we were talking about overthinking. I mean, I think we had a list of album titles that was probably like 30 or 40 different ones. Some were funny, some were like way too dark, and this was one that I don't know. I think Stefan might have pitched it, or I don't remember who pitched it, but like it just kind of it kept finding itself on like another short list and another, and it was like, yeah, this just feels like it's kind of funny given the band name. Like there's like a bit of a,
like we've been trying to avoid leaning into dog imagery
Yeah.
for our entire existence, and it's like, you know what, this is kind of funny.
yeah, like there's an irreverence to it while also communicating, obviously like Stefan talking about the song and the subject matter, like there is quite a like deep emotional undercurrent to it too, but on its face it's also like a little bit silly.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of hits at a juxtaposition that I think the four of us have always tried to strike, like with the band.
I needed the confirmation when I sent that around, where Zach, without any explanation about why it would be a good title, where Zach was just like, this is so upsetting and stupid. And I was like, well, there we go.
Perfect.
My sweet spot.
I'm going to play a bit of Hallways from PUP. We'll come back.
When one door closes, it might never open. There might be no other doors. There might be no other doors. I'm losing the will, keep dragging on, but I can't die yet, 'cause who will look after the dog?
That was a bit of Hallways. PUP's new album is called Who Will Look After the Dogs. I'm talking to Stefan, Steve, Zach, and Nestor today on World Cafe. We're going to go back to your 2019 album, Morbid Stuff, for the next live song that you're performing. It's a song called Free at Last. We'll hear you play it, then we'll come back and we'll talk some more. This is PUP live for World Cafe.
I was kicking your salty wax. Look up your nose and started dripping. Was 20 below you were shaking. I was a cop, this is bad enough. I was a drifter on the silent tracks. I was free at last, thought I could escape it, but I can't. And I won't keep you safe. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special at all. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special. Motivation, it comes and goes. Keeping expectations low, so when I lay it down, I won't feel so bad. I'll be stepping back out again. I was calling you up at 5 a.m. Well, of course why the hell would I be here if I wasn't? Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special at all. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special. I'm waking up again, now it never really matters at all. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special at all. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special. I'm waking up again, now we nothing really matters at all. Just 'cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special.
On World Cafe, that was PUP performing Free at Last. I'm Raina Douris here with Stefan, Steve, Nestor, and Zach from PUP. That song's from 2019's Morbid Stuff. And before you released that song, you guys posted the lyrics and the chord chart and asked your fans to do their best cover of the song that they had never ever heard before. You used some of those clips in the video for the song. Here's some of that.
Just 'cause you're sad again. 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 you special. It doesn't make you special.
Does make you special.
So that's a bunch of different PUP fans covering Free at Last without ever hearing the song. Why did you want to involve your fans that way?
I think this band has always felt like, to us, like world's stupidest club.
Yeah.
And I think it feels nice. Like I feel like the people who really like this band are involved and invested in a very strange and lovely way. So I think a lot of people were excited to get involved with this. And I listened to all this. There was I want
253.
253
Yeah.
submissions,
Wow.
something like 14 hours.
Yeah.
And I listened to every second of it, and it was horrifying.
And also, like at the time, I didn't like we had that idea, and we're like, okay, we're gonna get like 30. We'll ask some friends to like, can you just please do this as well? Like, you know, and we were not expecting that many.
Well, let's stay on the fans thing for a minute. I've been to many of your shows. PUP show was the first place I ever crowd surfed. Stefan pushed me. It's also the first and only place I've ever gotten a fat lip in a mosh pit. But from your perspective on the stage, what does a PUP show feel like? What makes it special?
I mean, again, the fans, but I think, everyone sitting on a couch here grew up in Toronto, and we came from a world that had like a pretty strong all ages scene, right? So we were all shown punk rock as like teenagers, and those spaces were not as welcoming as they are now, but I think we're still pretty welcoming. And to us, like that's something that we've prioritized. So having fans there that are, looking out for each other, even if the mosh pit is going crazy, and like there are people online, like on subreddits, being like, I just want to make some friends. I don't know anyone. Like I'm going to the Richmond show or whatever.
Yeah, let's get beers.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone. Let's get beers before the show.
That being a community that like, we've prioritized it and done what we can and continue to do what we can to make it welcoming for, for queer people, for marginalized people as much as possible. Like, but just to see it kind of take a life of its own in a way that like reflects the things about like punk rock that we grew up sort of valuing.
Yeah.
That's really special. So to look out and see that every night, it's like kind of maybe people like lovingly beating each other up in the pit, but like also like looking out for each other. And like, last night we were in Boston, and someone whenever people lose stuff in the pit, like someone just held up a sole of a shoe. It wasn't a full shoe. And they're like, we have to get the sole of this shoe back to the person. Just like silly stuff like that will happen. And, people do prioritize like their own safety and their own kind of ability to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If I say something about just like the last couple tours in particular, without getting into anything too much, we live in troubling times, and I think that every night when we get to play these shows, it gives me hope. It feels incredible. It feels like everyone understands what we stand for and stand for the same things, and it feels like everyone there is there because they need to feel like there's hope and there's something better out there. And it just makes me feel so great. Like it really feels like, especially by the end of the night, it feels like a community more than it's ever felt to me before. Like there's been like our sound person Grace like just puts on like dance jams at the end of our set, and people stay around as long as they can, as long as the venue will allow them, and just like hang out and dance and make friends. And it's like a really wonderful thing to see. So it feels really good.
Kind of going back to Stefan, what you said about how the world can feel kind of bleak and everyone knows what you stand for when you're up there. Lately, there have been stories of bands, often punk bands, being outspoken and getting in trouble for it. There are people worried about having shows canceled or tours canceled. I was even talking to Sarah McLachlan recently, and she was talking about how she was nervous about speaking up too much and having her visa revoked. You guys are from Toronto. You tour all over the place, though. Is that something that has crossed your mind or that you think about?
Yes,
Yeah.
nearly constantly.
Yes.
But like, there are plenty of people who don't have the privilege to do what we do and who also don't get to speak out.
Mm.
And so I feel like we can, we take that risk. It is a risk. But again, I think we want to create an environment where people whose rights are under attack can feel safe. And part of that involves shouldering risk.
My guests today on World Cafe are PUP. We're going to hear another live performance going even further back for this one. It's from your self-titled debut from 2013. It's PUP with the Dark Days live for the World Cafe.
This endless night, this funeral dirge, we celebrate life at the end of the earth. When everything is gone, there'll be nothing left to learn. The ice flows again, and nothing will remain. We took what we could get, and we burned it anyway. With all those secrets, we slowly sank into the grave. The light will falter, it will fade. And in the darkness we'll say, this winter hasn't been so rough. Oh, it was cold, but it wasn't cold enough to freeze the blood beneath my spine. And at least I survived. We're sleeping through the day, and sinking like a ship. We're wasting away. Everyone is gone, and everything has changed. It will never be the same. And when it's over, we'll say, this winter hasn't been so rough. Oh, it was good, but it wasn't cold enough to freeze the blood beneath my spine. At least I survived.
This is World Cafe. I'm Raina Douris, hanging out with PUP today. You just heard them performing Dark Days, a song from their 2013 debut album. The band started in 2010. That's a long time you guys have been doing this. What does it feel like revisiting those songs from the first record now?
I was going to say you were there.
I was there. I was there before you were called PUP. But what is it like? I don't know. When I think about who I was 15 years ago, there are things that are the same, but there are things that are pretty different. What does it feel like? You're going up and performing songs that you wrote when you're kind of a maybe slightly different person. How does it feel?
Yeah, very different.
Well, yeah, I don't think any one of us expected for this to go on this long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like really,
Like,
still?
Yeah.
If you told me
Yeah.
in 2010 like you're still going to be doing this in 2025, I'd be like, God, no.
I
How
genuinely,
embarrassing.
Please.
I thought it was like a 3-year plan type thing. Like, not to be like, not to treat it like that, but like, we were all kind of like just out of like college or whatever. And it's like, all right, we're going to try this and we'll see what happens. And now I joke, I'm like, yeah, we're on year 15 of a 3-year plan. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of like, and yeah, we are different. And obviously things are different, but like, it is, it feels special to be able to hear people like screaming all those songs that we wrote in Nestor's parents' basement.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm also impressed. Like the songs we still play from the back catalog, just like how much. Somehow I'm impressed about how much thought we put into them. Like it's pretty. Just like I want to give credit to us in the past,
Yeah.
which I don't think we have been inclined to do very often. So to step into those songs again, and it's like, oh, we really thought about these a lot, and maybe sometimes too much, but it's cool that they still hold like a sort of interest.
We just did a few shows in Toronto where we were kind of trying to revisit each album here and there. And it was funny. Like we had played some songs from the first record that we hadn't played in probably 7 years. And it was just like putting on an old pair of jeans. Like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this. Like, yeah.
waist is a little bit tighter, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 15 years is a long time for a band, any band, to stay together without taking a hiatus or having lineup changes. On a personal, I guess you could answer this as a personal level or creative level. How has the band dynamic changed over the years?
I mean,
Has it?
Yeah, we're still all pretty immature. So
yeah, I think the thing that we've all realized, both like, I don't want to speak for everyone, but like, it seems that we have all realized this, is that like the band is the four of us, whether we like it or not. So that there's like a level of comfort there and an understanding that it is imperfect and we have arguments. Like it's not cute all the time, nor should it be, I think. But regardless, like we are the sort of primary support system for each other when this band is concerned, right? Like it's been the four of us from when it was just the worst van you've ever seen.
I think I slept in that van.
Yeah.
So sorry.
And like something about that allows us, I think, to be a little more gentle with each other than we have been in the past, and to help kind of create space for each other and like seed that space when it needs to be seeded. And just like, yeah, realizing that this is difficult and it's hard for everyone, and we grow and we change, and this band grows and changes too, but some element of it will still always be the four of us, and it has to work that way, even if it's tough, even if we're at odds creatively, or there's been interpersonal conflict. Like I don't think it's worth shying away from any of that stuff. Like it happens, right? But that we all want the same thing. We all care about this project and about each other, and that's special.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, I want to talk about how that manifests on this album before we hear you play the last song that we're going to hear. Also, the last song on the album is called Shut Up. And I often wonder this with bands. It's like Stefan, for instance, brings in all of these vulnerable, emotional lyrics. And then it's like, okay, now we have to make this into a PUP song. How does that process work now?
Poorly.
Yeah. But also, as to Steve's point, the only way it can work is poorly, I guess.
Yeah, it is. As Steve said, PUP, for better or worse, is very much the four of us, and it is like, the songs are the songs, but what makes them special PUP songs is that everyone's fingerprints are all over them, and like we all kind of bring a different stink to these songs that really make every song we make together feel like us, like the four of us. I mean, even if I'm writing the lyrics, I think that all of our personalities are very deeply ingrained in all of these songs. Yeah, it's speaking for me personally, it's very gratifying to have a lot of these songs be like things that maybe I've written and I feel like that's a pretty good song, and then somebody or everybody comes up with interesting ways to look at the song that like turn a song that I think is like, yeah, that's pretty good, into something that I'm like, wow, I can't believe that we made something like this. And that's that's a really special feeling, that no matter how hard you work on something alone, you can't get that feeling.
Mm. There is a lyric in this song where you refer to these as your, quote, stupid little songs. 15 years in, with the kind of success you guys have had, as much as I know you hate to admit it, it does feel like, you are very self-deprecating, and there may be a bit of a inferiority complex going on. Do you feel like that will ever change? Do you think you guys will ever be sure, okay, we got this?
I was thinking about it the other day, like, if I had all of my knowledge about like being a creative person in a band in this industry, but I was also somehow completely sane, I probably wouldn't choose to do this job. So I feel like maybe it's integral to the process that there's the insecurity. I don't know. I don't want it to be. I want to feel better about myself, but maybe that's counterproductive. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it totally, for me, it depends on the day. Some days I'm like, this is cool. We're gonna be a rock band forever. And then,
I'm leaving this interview now.
And then other days I'm like, someone's gonna knock on my door and tell me I have to go get a job at the bank, and I don't know how to do math. Like,
Arithmetic, Steve.
So I think there's always gonna be, there's some element of maybe not insecurity, but just like feeling like it is precarious, because it has been precarious for us in the past, and it could be precarious in the future. Like, I think there's always that possibility. I think it's just trying not to dwell on it and appreciate where this band kind of started and where it's ended up. That allows me to just sort of, and I think maybe all of us, to like try and enjoy the experiences that we have doing this.
I mean, to put a less like moralizing label on it, I feel like creative curiosity kind of lives and dies in precarity. Like, you're not doing anything good probably if you're just staying safe. So maybe you do kind of need it, but yeah.
Also, who cares?
Yeah,
These songs are really stupid.
Yeah, screw it.
We're not like, we're trying to do our part to like make things better, but like we're not saving anyone. We're not changing. These are dumb songs. Like, even the not dumb ones are dumb. Like, and I'm not saying that. I'm just, all I'm saying about it is that like, it's important to remember that there are very serious things in the world, and even though many of our songs are serious, and we actually take them very seriously because we work on them very hard, at the end of the day, we're just playing music to make ourselves feel better and to hopefully make some other people feel better. And it's really important to not get caught up in thinking that is more serious than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Shut Up, performed live by PUP for World Cafe.
think I'm purposeless, such an idiot, oblivious. Been working through the evening, I'm working through the fog. You've got your master's thesis, I've got my stupid little songs. I'm tearing up all the pieces, I'm walking by your house. You don't need solutions, I just need to shut my mouth. I'm done with the I'm done with the talk. You'd have thought it was tragic, thought about it at all. Thought I was done trying to find it, but you know I can't stop. I just knew what it was, so I was coming on strong. I know it's a lot. You're working through the evening, I'm working through the fog. You've got your master's thesis, got my stupid little songs. I'm tearing up all the pieces, I'm walking by your house. You don't need solutions, I just need to shut my mouth. Working through the evening, I'm working through the fog. You got your master's thesis, I've got my stupid little song. I'm tearing up all the pieces, I'm walking by your house. You don't need solutions.
Shut Up, performed live by PUP, recorded for the World Cafe. Their new album is called Who Will Look After the Dogs. Stefan Babcock, Steve Sledkowski, Zach Mikula, and Nestor Chumak of PUP have been my guests today. It has been so great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Raina.
Thank
We
you.
love you.
Thank you.
I'm Raina Douris, back in a moment with more World Cafe.